Hello, good evening, my dear fellow friends, travelers, and photographers. Chris Lee here. Welcome to my travel channels. This is my numbers 29 episode of my travelogues. It's also the 4th episode of my travel journey to the nation under the name Turkey. Now, Turkey been a very fascinating nation which have been visited by world travelers and can be claimed as the 5th most visited nation in the world. And in this episode, I want to bring you to very unique characteristic of this place in central Turkey, where not only exhibit a very unique landform, but also a very unique civilization where people are literally staying in the cave, both above ground and underground. So what we are going to find out today, let's look at some of the abstract of the images that from this episode that I want to share with you for a quick one. These are the images you expect to see in this episode, which will be showcased now. A very unique landform, not to be missed. Please stay tuned until the end of these travelogues. Okay, let's go to the travelogue propers, Cappadocia. Now, Cappadocia is a historical region in central Turkey. Now, for those who are not aware of where the location of Turkey and you are first time with me, Turkey is located in a region commonly known as Middle East and is at the meeting point between the Asia and Europe continents. Right? And therefore, that also makes why Turkey are so popular among world travelers. And look at this tourist map. It has exhibited at least more than 50 places of interest in Turkey. And in this episode today, I'm going to share with you a place in the central Turkey that known as Cappadocia is where the area that has been circled in this map. And this is basically our number 6 stop in Turkey. And it's important to note that the Cappadocia is a historical region in central Turkey, which is approximately 756 kilometers away from Istanbul. Cappadocia is a large region which comprises 7 provinces. And the nearest large city is Nisahi, right? And can be reached from 2 nearby airports, the Nisahi Airport and Kayseri Airport. Cappadocia in Turkey simply means the land of beautiful horses. Topographically, this region consists of high platform of over 1,000 meters above sea level, and it was formed by volcano activities, possibly a few 100,000 years ago, and are full of volcano peaks. And this region have a continental climate that is with hot, dry summer and cold, snowy winters with low rainfall. So let's look at the map here. You can see from this is a topography map showing the altitudes of the various land area in Turkey. And the green area refer to the lowland, and the dark brown are referred to the highland. And you can see that Cappadocia are in mid-zone, mid-tone. Basically, is a light brown, which means that it's also considered as high ground, which is about 1,000 meters above sea level. And then look at this Cappadocia map, illustrated map. And you can see that there's a lot of area where they give different name. Most of it are given a name of valley. For example, you can have so-called Love Valley, you can have so-called Pigeon Valley, you have Valley Valley, and so on and so forth. At the same time, also we have two places at the southernmost, and that is namely the Derin Kuyu and Kemakli. The Derin Kuyu and Kemakli is a location where the underground cave are located. So I'm going to today introduce you to some of these very famous places in Cappadocia. Now, Cappadocia was once a kingdom, but a very short kingdom, which from 64 BC to 24 AC, which is about 88 years of duration, and also once a Roman province. It is famous for its whimsical and fanciful yet unique rock formations, which is commonly known as fairy chimney, and the staggeringly deep underground cave system. Now, besides the natural attractions, it is also one of the world's most desirable destinations for hot air balloon rides, which provide you with a panoramic view of this unique landform. So if you are there, you are offered opportunity to have the balloon ride, hot air balloon ride. Please do not let go your opportunity, because not every visitor are that fortunate during a windy day that the hot air balloon ride will be called off. So let's see what Cappadocia got to offer. And I'm going to showcase you generally an overview of the landscape around this Cappadocia in the following images. Some of these images are taken from afar, and some of these images are taken on the hot air balloons. So you can see that the landform is very, very unique. As I mentioned earlier, is believed to have formed by volcano activity. And volcano activity have a characteristic that is not very, very hard. In fact, it's considered soft rocks. And this could be a reason why the cave can easily dug into this hill, right? This hill formed by volcano activities. So as you go along some images, you can see some hole, and all the holes that on the rock face are basically the cave, a dug-in cave opening that been stayed by human beings, right, many hundred years ago. The landform here, and also the topography is very rugged in the sand. You can see that they have a lot of small little peak or small little hill closely linked together, right? So in this image, you can see there are much more opening were dug into these hills, and you can start seeing that the fairly chimney start appearing. So in fact, in this section is actually the fairly chimney region. And in one location, they're given a name, Pigeon Valley. It's given this name is not for no reason. In fact, that in that regions, a lot of pigeons was kept by the people there many hundred years ago, and therefore they had to provide places for the pigeon to stay, and therefore they besides digging into the cave for them to stay, for human beings to stay, they also form a lot of small little cave or hole on the surface of the wall of the hill that to allow the pigeon to stay, and that's how we always call them pigeonhole, pigeonhole. And you can see from these images. Here you see now, all the small little hole that dug into this hill side, or hill slope, actually are meant to be for pigeon to stay. Some of these actually are deep underground, to a certain extent is subterranean, in the sense that because the above the ground, people still can pass by, walking around. It's quite a flat ground, and right below at the side, they dig into it and form, just as seen in this picture above. And part of the dwellings are not entirely built of dug-in cave, but some of them are including some man-made structure, as seen in this image. Some even carve it to form literally a door opening or window opening. You can find many such cave dwellings around this Cappadocia. This is a bit more far remote from the place we stay. I think this is the furthest our hot air balloon have reached, and we have managed to also capture some image. So this will give you a better idea, right, how Cappadocia landscape look like, and from above, right. And this is where the Love Valley, you can see this very chimney is another name given to them. We have opportunity to even roam around on ground, and I'll share with you later on this Love Valley photograph, which will follow suit. But before we go on to that, let's share a bit about this Love Valley or Valley Chimney around these Cappadocia regions. It's a natural landscape zone in Cappadocia and have attracted a lot of visitors around the world. Partially contributed by the unique landscape of this region, such as the Pigeon Valley and as well as the Love Valley, right? And attributed for the fascinating shape of the valley chimney, as can be seen in the image. Now, in Pigeon Valley, as I also just now share with you, that the house many pigeon houses or pigeon holes. The big rock cut-out room are for human beings, while the small one are for the pigeons. And this offer, of course, again a very fascinating view to visitors around the world. And this place also is popular for hot air balloon ride. And if you have an opportunity, please do so. And let's go on with more images of this Love Valley. Indeed, it's very unique, and particularly you have a different color. A cap light at the top most, and this is unlikely you can find. It's not a painted on it. It is natural colors of the earth formations. It's quite a big compound. You need I think you need about at least 3 to 4 hours to have to be able to enjoy the scenery. But unfortunately, our time allocated in this location is about 2 hours only. And at the same time, as a photographer, we tend to spend a lot of time is selecting our angle of view for better pictures taken. So therefore, we took us a lot of time, So I'm literally is the last passengers that's back to the bus, where the whole bus of travel mates are waiting for me. My apology if any one of them are viewing this travelogue today. Very, very unique. In fact, this is one of the very, very fascinating place, and it's definitely a picture square in every corner for photographer. Close to evening, and you can see from the little human figures there to give you a sense of scale. So it's some of these chimney, so-called fairly chimney, are fairly high, probably about 8 to 10 meter high. I'm glad that during the day of visit to this Love Valley, and we have very nice weather with a blue sky. Of course, it's cloudless on that day, but the sunshine is fantastic, nice. So that I managed to capture all these beautiful images. Thanks for the good weather. Over here we found this large, huge, flat piece of rocks supported by two pieces of rocks below, and with a very big cave-in enclosure, and natural cave. I believe this area has been a good place for the inhabitants 300 years ago. And as usual, all these famous places of interest, we always come across wedding couples having their wedding photograph taken. And in this instance, myself, again, this is my second encounter of wedding couples. First encounter is actually in our area, which I exhibited in my last episode. And this another couple we have met in this episode during our visit to this Love Valley. And I'll bring you to another very interesting place. It has been turned into a museum. It's a Geremi open air museum. And before I go into the image proper, I would like to share with you some information about this Geremi open air museum. Geremi is a place, and is located in the heart of Cappadocia, which contains some of the finest rock-cut churches, which beautifully fresco or wall painting, which dated back to the period of 10th to 12th century, which is about 1,000 years ago. There are so many rock-cut churches, and the most popular one are named Newry, St. Barbara Church, Apple Church, Snake Church, Dark Church, Chariclee Church, as well as a Bucket Church, right? The site which turned museum also housed many rock-cut hermits' holes as dwellings, right? Today, this open-air museum is an UNESCO World Heritage Site, awarded in the year 1984. And it was the first two UNESCO sites in Turkey. So let's go into the image proper of this Geremi open air museum. It is believed that this location is a religious center during the ancient time. And because of that, you can see they found so many churches, cave churches compared to other area. Almost every little hills nearby these regions have been dug into with forming cave dwellings everywhere, and you are allowed to visit to some of these cave buildings, and later I will share with you some of the interior images of this cave building. The openings are either door or windows openings. Some of these dwellings in the cave are actually multi-story, some even to 3-story high, or even 4-story high. Of course, that the most of it are single-story or double stories. And this is one of the church buildings that we came across during our visit. Here we are coming close to one of the cave dwellings. They have a proper entrance or doors. And as I mentioned, that when you enter to these cave dwellings, normally the first level is their kitchens, because in kitchen you tend to cook, and the smoke, you had to let the smoke get out. So if you place the kitchen at the lower level, the smoke will go upwards, then it will choke those rooms at the upper floor. So it's ideally they place the kitchen at the highest floor most and next to the entrance, so that the smoke can escape, into the outside. And how do we know that it's a kitchen? Because the moment you enter, you see that dark colors soffit of cave ceiling is all are being caused by the smoke come from the fireplace, like as seen in these images. Complete pitch dark for the entire ceilings area. And they also well planned, and they have even create opening and some channels inside to allow the water to channel into the cooking area for use for the preparation of the food, as seen in this image. I believe this is also a fireplace. We also notice some of this sign on the exterior of some of the cave dwellings. And this is one of the churches we have visited. You can see the fresco, the painting on the soffit of the ceiling as well on the wall. And I will bring on to you to another small township in Cappadocia. It's also where we put our night there. We have 2 nights in this little township known as Uchiza. And let's share a bit some history and background of Uchiza. Uchiza is a small township situated in the highest point of Cappadocia on the Nisahir and to Gerimi roads, in between these two places, just about 5 km from Gerimi, right? Stood at the highest point of the town is a Uchiza castle. It's a Roman rock-cut castle, right? And at the topmost floor of this castle, you should be able to get a panoramic view of the Uchiza towns and its surrounding. Now, Uchiza town are surrounded by on 3 sides, right? That is basically the east, west, and north by very chimney landscape, except the north, where the protruding landmass were once hollowed out and used as a grave during the Roman periods. Now, beside the popular Uchiha Castle, the popularity of Uchiha comes from the numerous cave hotels. Most of these cave hotels are formed by using rooms hollowed into rocks and then connect each other with passages, tunnels and stairs. Where you can find any of these hotels are fully built of cave out rooms. Most of the common area and the utility areas are built up structure or man-made structures. So it's a combination of dug-in cave as room as well as a built-in brick or stone structures, or even some of them are concrete structure to form the hotel. I will share with you some of these images as I go along. But before that, let's have a view of surrounding of this Uchiha town, a small little township. And this is the Uchiha Street that we are walking during the day, but we also spend our time strolling around during the night as we stay there for 2 nights. It's just a small town so that there's not many streets. So I think you spend about an hour or two, probably you can cover the entire town. These are some of the hotels that have been found, we come across, which not far from a place of stay. Exteriorly, you didn't notice that it's a cave hotel because it's still, most of the structures you can see are all man-made structures. This is a scene taken during the nightfall at night. All these hotels, they have a lot of rooms. They have quite limited rooms. In fact, the hotel that we stay, I believe that they only have 11 rooms. And so it's not even big enough to cater for our groups. But however, during peak season, getting a room in Uchiha is a problem. So please make sure that you need to make early booking if you are coming during the peak season. As you enter the hotel, the place where we stay, this is a common area or common lobby area, and you can see that they start linking to the rooms. You can see some of these doors are actually the door to the rooms, hotel room. And this is actually one of the hotel rooms, not stayed by us, stayed by one of our travel mates. They are lucky to assign a very special room, king suites, and where you can see that they even have a jacuzzi, bathtub, and a very big living area. Right. For us, I'm staying in quite a pretty small rooms, just nice to squeeze in a king size bed, But in this case, they have quite a huge rooms to stay. And this is some of the street scene during the night. And we come across this place. It looked like a canteen or a food court, but it was not operating in the night. And some of the shop, restaurant, small restaurant or coffee shop, you can call that, and they have some local is playing the traditional instruments and singing there. So we do sit there for a while, listen to their singing. And the next one I will bring to you is another highlight in this episode. Is actually the underground city. As I mentioned earlier, in Cappadocia, they have 2 places that house the underground city, and they're famous around the world. And one of them is Kai Makli underground city, and the one is called Dirin Kuyu underground city. But what I'm going to share to you today in my images is referring to Dirin Kuyu underground city. But is there any difference between these 2 underground cities? Yes, there's a distinct differences between these two underground cities. As for the Cappadocia underground city, is claimed to be the largest or widest underground city, right? While the Kuyu underground city are claimed to be the deepest underground city. So let's talk about this Kuyu underground city. Being the deepest underground city, is located in the region also share the same name, the Kuyu town, right? Which is about 40 km away from Geremi, right? Now, in the vicinity of this underground city, there are about 600 outside doors to the city for entering the underground city. These doors are mostly hidden in the courtyards of the survey dwellings. The underground city is approximately 85 meters deep. It's considered quite deep, right? It could be deep ventilation shaft, which also serve as water valve. It's built with extensive network of passages, tunnels, step pit, and inclining corridor linking all the dwellings and rooms together. These underground dwellings were built for long stay and to withstand attack of enemy, right? The city could be supported large number of people as well as their domesticated animal for extended period of stay. Now, at strategic point at the passageway, a carefully crafted and sized moving stone door in the form of wheel-like shape were installed, and these stone doors are used as a purpose to stop the intruder from passing through, right? And this can be seen from some of the images I'm going to share with you. And this door cannot be opened except from inner side of the building. Okay, let's move on to the image proper. This is the image. What you see here is the surface dwellings, right? It looks like it's above ground cave, but believe me, this is only ice. It's just only a top layer. In fact, the dwellings underground city is deep underground, below all these surface dwelling. So as we enter, we realize that as usual, like what we encounter, Geremi open air museums, right? Some are dwelling that we visited. The first level is completely used as a kitchen. Why? Because you can see that the wall and the surface of the cave are all being turned into dark color. These are the result of the smoke generated from the fireplace. As we move on to level 2, the second level underground, we were told this level are used for keeping domesticated animals and their food. You can see some shaft, connecting all the rooms above. This vertical shaft all the way lead to the external surface, right above. And this is actually the air shaft, and some of these air shafts are also used as the valve point where they get the water right deep below ground. A lot of linking corridor, linking tunnels, steps. Surprisingly, is the rooms are quite spacious as you went underground, and we don't feel stuffy. That means that the ventilation shaft was sufficient to cater, for the living, the inhabitant to be stay there. So it's quite a nice planning, take into consideration of the ventilations. Some of these tunnel or step are leading to the level below, next level below, and sometimes it's fairly steep, like seen in the image on the right. And some of these passageways are fairly narrow, only can permit one person to pass through. Here is the door I'm referring to, the wheel-like stone door, and you can see we are now inside the room, and you can see there's a door opening before this wheel-like stone door, and that is actually leading to exterior. And therefore, the moment you want to block intruder, you just have to slide this stone wheel-like stone door all the way from right to the left, and then after that you put a stopper below the stone wall, and the moment you can see a stopper will place on the left hand side of right. But the moment you want to roll this wheel stone door to the left, you remove the stone stopper at the bottom, then after that you put it on the right side to stop him from rolling back. So this is how to position hold the disco wheel stone door at the location to close up the exit point. More images of this wheel-like stone door. There are quite a number of this wheel-like stone door at strategic location. Most of it are linking to the exterior. And you can see the image on the right show that there is a water well, and as to prevent people from falling into it, the grating was placed on top, and that's where they get the water supply. And normally this water well is actually found at the lowest level, and at the same time they create a shaft right above it, connecting all the way through up to upper floor, so that the upper floor can also access to this water through this air well. Air shaft, which also serves as a water valve. More of this connecting passageway. Most of it are fairly narrow. So this is all about today. I'm going to share with you about this underground city in Cappadocia, as well as the unique landscape, landform in Cappadocia. I hope you enjoy it, and in the following weeks, coming weeks itself, I will share with you the last episode of my travel to Turkey before I move on back to Xinjiang. But this time I'm going back to China to cover the Xinjiang. I will cover the northern region of Xinjiang, which again is entirely different from the topography and tradition and culture that you can find in southern Xinjiang, and another very exciting place to visit in China, which I will share with you after the coming week's episode, or also the last episode to Turkey. Alright, so I thank you for staying until this hour with me, and I hope you are strong and healthy, and I hope you enjoy it. And please do subscribe, share and like my travel channel, and please share the channel to your friends and family so that they can be like you, right? Enjoying touring the world virtually at the comfort of the home. So stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see you again in the coming week for the last episode of my travelogues to Turkey. Thank you and good night.